Hey guys, and welcome back. This is the second half of the MNG podcast, episode 1, where now we're going to be talking a little more lighthearted topics instead of, how many lives it will take to kill someone for you to, die. Um, so we're going to start with actually something relevant and one of the upcoming esports. Before we actually start about esports, we're going to talk about League of Legends. Their new season 7, finally started, and this week
That's
we've seen
bad.
a couple upsets, a couple of newcomers come to light. Newcomers in quotations
Some
because
old-
they're mostly ex-pros that just formed a new team. But in the light of things, there was one big change to the league community and the
That was LCK.
competitive scene, which was the ban system, where they upgraded from 6 to 10 due to the number of champions being released. And it's a weird little draft phase that they have, but it apparently seems to work and adds a lot more strategy to the pick and ban phase. And a lot more teams are saying now that if you outpick someone or outban someone, you can actually just win the game from there. So I'd like to hear everyone's input on it, and if you've actually seen the LCS games by the chance, to input how the viewing experience was.
All right. Well,
Well-
I didn't watch the beginning of the game because I'm boosted.
Well, I've seen it.
You saw it? Well, basically, from the one thing I did see that was crazy is the variety of champions. I remember there was a thread on Reddit saying that 44 unique champions at week 1 of LCK, and I was
Are you serious?
44 champions in week 1 because of everyone had to counter ban and stuff, and it was crazy. And the games were actually spicy instead of being well, this team got the 2 OP champions in this meta. GG, guys. It's pretty. I was actually entertaining to watch.
But to be honest, it's either the 10 ban system either goes one or two ways. It's either going to be the same bans from what I'm seeing. It's always the same bans, the same 10 bans, maybe a couple 2 or 3 variations. And that's how it's going to be always. It's going to be
But that's
oh,
the
these are
thing.
the strongest people. Let's just ban these guys. Or it's going to be people target banning, let's say, someone with a smaller champ pool, because those 5 bans, let's say there's for example, I don't really know people with a small champ pool, but let's say Bridgerton only knew how to play Syndra, Zed, Yasuo, TF, and Victor. They banned
They
all
wouldn't
5.
be in the
They wouldn't be
Yeah,
in
I
the
know. I'm
pro.
just saying. I but those are
Hypothetical
five,
for
because
terms of
it's
argument.
those there's three bands, okay, that have 2 comfort picks left, and then if someone else on the other team picks it, I can just pick my last comfort pick. Now it's being I have to go out of my comfort zone to either win the game for my team, or now I can let the other players on my team shine because they only banned out me, so my other players on my team can pick their comfort picks and win for me. And
Just out of curiosity, which of the which game did you see? That
I
you
saw
said that
the-
the ban systems have been always the same.
well, it's always okay from what
No,
I saw.
what game?
I just want to
I
say
saw
one thing.
I saw Cloud9 versus TSM, and I saw the Team Liquid versus CLG.
Okay,
I was
let me,
looking at
let me
LCK.
just you didn't see the LCK bans where they were specific to the teams, and a lot of them were variety depending on comfort picks back and forth. Remember, NALCS, the thing that
boosted.
makes NALCS so bad is that everyone's extremely predictable, and they always play around the same kind of champion pools. The
And I
very
just
few
wanna-
people that don't is
Goddamn.
Bjerg, and I think it was, I'm forgetting his name. Oh my God.
Bjerg.
Jensen.
No, Bjerg and Jensen, who would play weird ass champions all the time.
I would you should have seen the LCK game. Was it SKT versus Jin Air? Holy, that was spicy. With the picks and bans, and actually they did a lot of crazy ass picks, dude.
Okay, alright. Finally we can talk now. So Anton, you're saying, oh, they're always gonna ban the same thing, but it's always been like that.
Yeah, but
Never
now
had,
it's just
Just because you add 2 or 4 more doesn't mean it's gonna change. They'll keep on banning the same things. It's always been like that. And now it's actually people are actually gonna have to find new ways to play different champions, or just just new champion. Or, I mean, just different champions instead of the same thing, playing fucking Zed
Yeah,
over and over and over. And gonna make the game just a whole lot more interesting, and you're gonna have to play different.
Yeah, I'm not
comps. You're gonna
saying
have
it's
to-
like a bad thing though.
It's
Yeah,
like
man.
if somebody really actually only played 5 champions. I know it was like for an argument, but if somebody actually really only played 5
That's
champions,
me.
they wouldn't be in the LCS. And if
Well,
they
no,
are in the
like-
LCS,
5 comfort picks. And I know, like,
Yeah.
there are some players in the LCS or LCK that do have a small champ pool and can get targeted like that.
What's it?
I forget exactly who.
But it was
But,
what's it?
And he
SKT
shouldn't be
SKT's
enough.
top laner is a perfect example of why the new ban system is spicy, because SKT's top laner only plays like squishy, like big damage top laners, and then because of the ban system, he was forced into a tank role, and he was like really spicy at tank roles, but no one ever sees him play tank roles because he always does a comfort pick on like a squishy bursty. So instead of actually forcing people into comfort picks, it's forcing them out of comfort picks, which makes the games more interesting because it tests like the person's actual ability rather than
good they
how
actually are.
it tests the person's ability like overall in the game rather than how many hours do you have on Riven.
Million. They call me Box.
it's like if
So.
you, keep on going. Okay.
Okay. So what you guys are saying is that the new ban system, what it's doing, it's like getting rid of these like one-trick pony guys, which we all know they can play these champions magically, and making it more diverse. But do you actually think that diversity is helping like the game itself? Because League is based off knowing the game very well, knowing rotations, COG, and understanding them very well, and understanding map movement, understanding objective control, and understanding farming and basic mechanics. But it's also about mastering the game and a certain specific champions to the point where you're doing things which were like unbelievably to do before. Like I learned very recently that you can EQ on Syndra instead of QE, and the orb doesn't show up until after the stun. So it surprises people, and it's been flagged as not a bug, but as a feature. But it's a very high skill cap of people that can do it. And I know I've done it once in like 80 to 90 tries. But there's like people like Bjergsen who hit it once
Isn't a
Oh,
every
bug.
10.
It's a feature.
It's a feature.
That's the thing. I could just go watch a montage really quickly of Faker
Yeah.
playing solo queue if I wanted to see that. What I want to
Well,
see
like,
is,
yeah.
and I think
As
the
a viewer,
majority
yeah.
of people is just they don't want to see the same. Because I could watch Faker like in season 3, season 4, just playing Zed every like game, and not obviously he didn't play every game, but just like every single game of Zed that he played to see all those things if I wanted to.
And like
But
even
most people, they want like a difference in every game. They want to see every game, or they want to see like just different things happen in a game, not just somebody playing Zed over and over and over. Even though it is interesting, and like every now and then, I like to just go watch a montage of just Faker playing Zed. It's just I kind of want differences, like just seeing like who can come out with like AP Ezra. Like I think is AP Ezra on the meta now? Kevin, didn't you say that?
Yeah.
Never been in the meta.
No,
just, like-
a couple of you have been using it mid and like challenger solo.
Just like I just want to see an AP Ezra out of nowhere and destroy everybody somehow. And it's just like, damn, we got to counter this guy now. We have to ban him now. We have to do all these things. We got to change everything. Like I want to see that instead of just Faker just playing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And amazing.
well-
Yeah, he is amazing.
but like even I mean okay, no, go ahead, Kim.
Let me just add on like a little factor to your point. If we think of like competitive games as of right now, a lot of them are very similar and stale. We can leave them like a Counter-Strike, where everything is basically the same. You have one op, you have a certain amount of guns, you have a strike. It's always very linear, and you always know, like in a buy round, they're probably gonna buy
AK.
4 AKs an op, and go with it. But it wouldn't be. It's like that's how the league system used to be, but now they decided. Wait, instead of giving everyone 4 AKs, we're going to give 2 UMPs, op, a random MP7, and then like a
A
Galil.
deagle.
So here's my
So like they did
No
that.
gun.
Do
You don't get a gun.
do you think that that's
Punch
affecting it though? Because you're getting rid of the competitiveness. You're getting rid of the skill, almost the skill factor. Because now people have to learn these champions which have no hours, and other people might have like hundreds of thousands of hours in like
oh no,
secret.
see that's where the split comes in, because
Skill
Really?
and training comes into play.
really it's not like a top tier player, a competitive player should already have the knowledge to play champions for the role. Like every champion for the role, they should already have that knowledge innately. Even if they're like good at some specific champions, they should be able to have like the skill to play any other champion in that role. It's not
Right.
about like whether it's messing. It's not messing it up. It's actually it's forcing the players to become more competitive and to improve even further. Because really, when you give someone the choice, like we were saying with the CS:GO analogy, yeah, it's like the person you could go with 4 AKs and op, and everyone's gonna be really damn good with an AK and ops. And then if you force them to switch into other guns, it's like even if they don't play with those, even if like they don't play with those guns, they're at a top tier level. They should know how to use those guns properly.
Yeah.
Right.
And-
Hold on.
I'll
Can I step in for a second?
Yeah, go.
All right. So since Kevin mentioned CS:GO,
Oh, now he's in.
the game CS:GO is extremely linear. You know, you can sort of predict how buy rounds are going to go. But what people watch for at that point is to see what the pros do, like the sort of the executions, the way they take control of the map and stuff. And that's a lot of what sort of comes from this pick and ban phase with League now. Now it's no longer about seeing just raw fucking skill, right? When you can sort of like ban someone out and you force someone on
It's
the roles
about
they may not be
strats.
comfortable on, it's also about the strats. It's about understanding how you play the comp. It's about understanding now how maybe different team might play the same comp, how the picks and ban works. It's really sort of giving like this sort of huge like sort of like difference in dynamic of how the game's played. And now there's this general more focus around sort of like that strategic sort of like approach. And of course, it might be a little weird for now, where some people may be like, "Oh yeah, you can outright win in the picks and bans." But I feel like as times go on, and in the long run, once teams start understanding that they can't just be proficient in a certain sort of play style, they have to be proficient in all play styles and maybe master of one of them. You know, it might come out to sort of where Counter-Strike is, where people start watching sort of for the ways to see like how teams sort of like take control. You know, they take vision control, they take Baron control, and all of that a lot more than just seeing like Berrickson get a 1v3 pen, like triple kill or some shit, right?
All right.
I have like one more point to say, and this is coming from like Freak himself. Now and in like because of the 10 bans, there's more flex picks for like teams. Like Freak said, it's just like, oh, Ziggs. It's gonna be like
It's a
Ziggs
dead meme.
ADC. It's either gonna be like Ziggs ADC.
But that's
or
also due
Ziggs
to
mid.
like the current state of AD.
Yeah, but now there's
trash.
there's like more. Like literally in all the games I saw, it was like, oh, like the Karma, is it gonna go mid? Is it gonna go support? The CLG versus Team Liquid game, there was a Nautilus. Is it gonna go support or is it gonna go top? Same
But
thing
that's
with,
always
like-
been there.
Yeah, but now it's just like it's going to be like more and more, and it's like you're seeing it more because of the 10 bans.
You're seeing it more, I believe. I'm just interrupt before I don't continue. You're seeing it more now because before, when they came down to the picks, in reality, if you haven't paid attention, the first 2 to 3 picks, depending on the side, were flex picks, so then they didn't show what their carry picks would be. Now, because of the 10 ban system, the first 3 picks on both teams can't really show the comp or the carries are going to play. Because if they end up doing that, they give away their strat, and then the enemy team could outpick them first. So I think that's what it's doing. It's just making those flex picks be more prominent in the terms of now they have to do those flex picks, or else it's going to come down to we have to, like, for a Yasuo comp, we have to first pick Yasuo, or we have to third pick Yasuo, and then when it comes down to the next bans, they're like, well, it's a Yasuo comp, bet any kind of knockup we can see.
Just a
Yeah.
question, since I haven't watched any of it. Is it like you ban one team bans
Okay.
3 other
Yeah,
teams?
explain it.
It's regular bans as it is right now. So 1 1 1 1 1 1. Then each side it goes, I think, 1 blue, 2 red, 2 blue, 1 red. Then it's a second draft of bans, which goes 1 ban, 1 ban, 1 ban, 1 ban, and then goes 1 blue pick, 2 red picks, 1 blue pick, if I'm right, or something like of the sort.
Yeah, it's pretty spicy.
Now because there's like a 10 ban system, I feel like it might get implemented into like actual like 5v5. Do you think it's gonna happen?
No, I don't
Like-
think it will.
Because it might though.
I think
I feel like
maybe
if Riot did it, people would get mad.
I feel like it could come to ranked, but that's about it. And I'm not even talking like
Like
in
it
the
would
near
only
future.
come into ranked 5v5s. It wouldn't come into draft.
Oh, ranked
It wouldn't come
5v5.
into-
There's no rank 5v5s.
Like, do you
That's
mean
flex.
teams?
But like they might like bring
Like
it back.
The only
Like-
reason they would bring it back is if Flex doesn't work.
If they
If
bring
it
back
was just
And
teams,
it's
full
working.
on
they would
5v5,
have-
yes, but not like solo queue. Whatever, they would never like.
because they have Team 5. So if there was some way for Riot to identify Team 5s and load up like a specific champion select UI for just Team 5s, then I think not in the near future, but it could be a possibility that the 10-ban system could come only for that or in custom games.
I feel like eventually the
They
10
might
man
have, like,
system
a
is gonna
tournament
come
mode
into
for it.
like duo, like solo queue and shit. Because there's so many champions now that 6 bans isn't going to be enough soon.
But then it comes down to a lot of the people, let's say from, I could be honest, from plat under and not looking to go pro. This is like a competitive game that they can play. So why the fuck are you gonna screw them over by allowing the enemy team to ban every champion they enjoy playing? Like that's something I can relate to right now with 6 bans, where I enjoy playing like Yasuo, Zed, LeBlanc, Syndra, and half the times I've seen every single one of those champions get banned, and then I get pushed back into like a TF, which is not as fun for me, or an Orianna, which I really hate to play. So that ruins my like solo like duo experience. But it might improve the competitive environment, but I lose my personal experience for a game I want to have fun in.
And I
Yeah.
think a lot of people
I think
have that same thing.
I think we're about to exhaust this topic as well.
I mean, okay, one more thing.
Sure.
It's like NA. The problem with them, and I think it's like with most games. I wouldn't say, maybe there's some games.
Is that
It's
they're
just
boosted.
like with CS and also League, they don't take it as serious. They don't try as hard. Like in EU, they have like, and Korea, they legit train for like 8 hours or like more than that. They like have a lot of like time dedicated to it. While in NA, they just like more of laid back with it. And I think this might take NA to like try to get them to take it more serious, and so we can actually see them get out of that shell or that like mindset where they're just like they're fucking bad, dude. Maybe they'll actually take some, fucking time to actually become serious about it. They're still serious about it, obviously, but just not at the level the Koreans and Europeans are already at. There you go.
Okay.
All right, but moving on from that is John, you're like the perfect transition, guys, because if we go now into broader terms outside league into esports as a whole, let's talk just about the state of it right now in America and the state of it as in growing from now. Like it's been a big thing in countries like Korea, because that's been actually like a televised sport for I don't know how many years now.
It's pretty much their national sport.
Yeah, like it's like
StarCraft 2
Big
is
thing
their
for them.
national sport.
Yeah.
it's a big thing over there. And when you say people don't take it so seriously, well, it's because they already had the issues that we're going through where people didn't see it as a sport, and then it slowly evolved into, like you say, a national sport almost. And
Literally.
that's the same thing when it comes to Europe. Europe is a lot more open into that, and it got the custom before us. So
Actually,
a lot of professional... Yes, right?
I think what really helped out Korea too is like their economy was sort of like crashed, and so what their government did was invest in a bunch of sort of like
Guys, we gotta invest
internet lines and
all of
stuff.
our
So there was a
GDP
lot of
into
like public
Weeaboos.
Wi-Fi. So people were getting laid off their jobs, and they started playing StarCraft their whole time. And so like, hey, people are playing StarCraft a lot. We're gonna get the economy up. So the entertainment business immediately turned it into like some sort of esports thing. So there wasn't that whole sort of like transitional thing where people are like, oh, video games aren't real, because the majority of people were playing it.
Well, in America,
Yeah,
that
but-
transition was real.
It
In
is
America,
real.
we're struggling with that transition.
Okay, Kevin, continue.
All right, now let's just open discussion really almost of like esports as a whole, and where do you want to see it go, how it is now, what it used to be in the past, like just discuss.
See,
Alright, well,
I think...
you go first.
Okay, so I think esports right now is in a really... It used to be in a shittier place. It's still in a shitty place right now, as it stands. It's definitely way more acceptable in countries like, we're talking about South Korea, spicy stuff like that. America...
It's getting there.
Well, I have to disagree with you, Gabriel.
University
No.
League of Legends is a thing. Like there
University,
are
okay.
Yeah.
I'm talking more in the
hiring
eyes. I'm
people.
talking more in the eyes of like the general,
The
like
news.
the general
The
media. Like we're
news.
talking about public media stuff. Oh my god, the
I just want to
news.
say that.
Dude,
The
there's
news and stuff.
Counter-Strike on TBS now.
Yeah.
Okay, now I want you to take a look at any single example of like any news station talking about video games as a sport.
It just
Or,
feels
like-
so.
That's just like liberal and like
Telemundo.
conservative media, though.
That's any station. That's the majority of people. We're looking
But
at
that's
it
the-
where we
Yes,
think
yes,
it's
yes,
more
yes,
comfortable.
yes, yes. Let's try not to talk over each other
Yeah.
because I just like could not hear half the things you guys were saying.
Yeah. So let me just finish up what I was saying. Basically, like, I think that right now esports is in a really bad place in America because the way we look at it is like the way that we might perceive it as gamers is that like, oh yeah, it's improving or whatever. But in reality, we're a small fraction of the people who really do like avidly support esports as an actual thing. In reality, when you look at it from an outsider's perspective, esports is just like, so it's just 5 nerds sitting in front of a computer, which is still a mindset people have, surprisingly enough. But it is it's like when you tell someone to compare esports to regular sports, they can't fathom it. It doesn't make sense. It's like, no, you're just 5 people sitting in front of a computer. It's in a bad place because of that, because of people's beliefs. You know, in a perfect world, it'd be amazing to compare esports to like an actual sport, maybe not like Olympic or whatever, but like it definitely deserves more recognition because like the people that play esports are like crazy.
All right, Gabriel, especially with your last point, I just want to point out the fact that I think it was the 2014 or 15 League of Legends finals. Wait, 15's League of Legends finals had more views than the NBA finals of that year.
Yeah, 2015. You were right.
So I don't think it's, as the public that it's missing. I think it's something else. Yes,
Like
continue.
general advertising.
What?
Like okay, we all know about like fucking like the Worlds and like ESL and shit like that because like we use like Reddit, we use like YouTube, like we're in like the community, and there's so many people in the community right now that it's just like that's why it like overshadowed like the NBA finals. But like the reason why that not that many people know about it because it isn't like really like pushed onto like the general public. Like you aren't seeing like fucking Counter-Strike commercials while watching TV. Or well for like the TBS shit, but that doesn't count. Or like League of Legends ads on TV. You never see that because it just isn't a thing. And if it were a thing, then like more people would like start being like, oh, like esports is like a thing, like people actually do this, and then like more people start getting interested, and then there's like more like what's the word I'm looking for, like acceptance for it.
Mm-hmm. So
I mean, it's kind of it. That's like I'd give it a bit of it, but like what I'm really thinking is like it's not to be like rude to them or whatever. Just like everybody above like just like a certain age, I wouldn't say like maybe like 50 or whatever. Just when they die, I think that's when esports will get there. Like
because it's a different generation. You're talking about
I'm talking. They just like I feel like they can't view some of them. Yeah, like I'm not saying all of them. I'm just,
you're talking about like Gen Xers right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like they have a different view of it. Like, and there's more of us technically, but they're more in the position of like they
Power.
actually they have like if they want something on TV, they can have it on TV. Like there's people like I'm saying like. Sorry if I like sound retarded right now.
They are the bankers.
Yeah. They have the power right now, like because they worked up to that position and they're already there, right? So the people like I don't know if this is true or not. Just like make sure it can for me. Like people who like are CEOs or whatever, they're generally older, right? I just want to confirm this. Like
For the most part, there's a couple like 27, 30-year-olds,
but people who
most
like
are like
control,
over
network.
40. 50.
Yeah, and like people who are in the government or whatever, they're all generally old. And so they have the power right now. But once, we sort of get past that generation or whatever, I think most of like esports and whatever, all that type of stuff, it will get popular. Like it's just like it's gonna take some time, but it will get there eventually, I think.
Yeah, it's probably because basically Gen X is a dead meme, but then after that, millennials, they have the spice, dude. Millennials have all of the spice. It's basically when millennials become like, I don't want to say more meta, what's the word? Well, like
Metaphysical.
Yeah,
Come
when millennials have like more influence, we'll definitely be seeing a shift. Like right now, it's sort of a combination of that, and it's like the media still just doesn't want to accept it. Honestly, like it's only a matter of time at this point.
I'm just gonna quote here for something from ESPN to help you guys out, which was a reporter was doing a coverage over esports as a whole, and they said that these typical nerds as looked upon in the olden days are now looked upon as almost famous movie stars or even professional athletes.
Yeah, see that?
So
See what I mean? Like the way they
There's
refer
the
to them,
esports section in ESPN now.
run by gamers
I forgot.
who aren't actually like connected with like the remainder of ESPN. You realize when ESPN, it was crazy. You should have seen. It wasn't too long ago. It was probably like a year ago now. That when ESPN first started integrating like games and stuff. Oh my god, the audience was like in outrage everywhere. They were like literally calling like the gaming community just like a bunch of like idiots and nerds because it's like how are these people considered a sport? They're talking about real sports with like people running around throwing balls and shit, and it's like, don't you guys have chess
So offended.
and poker? Like what the? It was crazy the way that they. That's what I'm saying, and like even the way that like Kevin was talking about the quote that it's like it's talking about these nerds. Like we're like the gaming community as a whole is still seen as sort of like beneath everyone in terms of like sports and entertainment.
Okay, there you go. I think I found it. Let me see if I can get it.
Joy, what were
But
you saying?
somebody, I think it was like the CEO. No, the ESPN president.
Mhm.
He legit said esports is not a sport.
Mhm.
Like, I'm telling you, like most people, yeah, John Skipper, that's his name. Like those older people, I just like they can't view it as a sport as of now because they just grew up with it. It's not like, and it's more like they're just gonna stay the way. Like I forgot the word, like the word for it, but it's just like if they're already like doing it, why should they change? And it's just like they grew up with football, soccer, whatever, and all those sports, and so they're just like in their mind, just like I'm trying to think of the word right now, but they don't want to change. So like they don't view change as good, I would say. And so they're looking at
great
esports.
philosopher cousin.
I was about to say.
Okay. I'm sorry.
The great philosopher Kazakh. Change.
Change
God.
is
You
good.
need to listen to Kazakhs, is what I'm saying right here. Listen to Kazakhs and accept the change. Esports, sure, it might not be the usual sport that you would see, like football or whatever, but it is
You
a
gotta
sport. Like
evolve your
people
E.
they get dedication. Like it's the same with poker and whatever. And like I'm sorry, but golf, like it's a sport, yeah, but it doesn't have the same like.
Bruh, no. You
I'm
don't
not saying
dare
that,
talk
no,
shit
That's-
about
see,
golf.
this is
I'm
I
not
will
saying
fuck
it's the
you
same
up.
thing with it's the same thing with esports. Like it's not really physical. There is physical to it, but it's not the same as like football or baseball or basketball. And it's still viewed as a sport. It's
yeah.
still viewed as a sport. So why is it different than esports? Because it still takes the same amount of time to train
Because-
for it, to prepare for it. So why
It's
can't it
just,
just be seen as a sport? Okay, go ahead.
it took time for people to realize it's just like, oh, this is also a sport. The esports is relatively new, so just like literally just give it some time. Maybe
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying.
maybe like 1-2 years, maybe a tiny bit more, and then people
I
will
think
be
more.
like, oh, esports. Like already like now, like TBS is like fucking running
They
shit
have
on
CS:GO. I think.
E-League. Yeah, E-League. Arby's is fucking like advertising this shit.
Arby's is a good name.
All right. So to move on from this topic, and actually still be kind of tied to it, is as competitive games and esports are starting to rise, there's a genre of games which is starting to die very, very slowly, and a lot of people are questioning why or how to improve onto it or how they can get this genre to relive. And when I talk about this genre, I'm talking about MMOs and their current state. So up to you guys, because I am oblivious to this stuff. What is the current state of MMOs? Where do you think it should be?
You know,
and
me and Joey are about to get spiced.
And when do you
Yeah.
think it was their prime time? When were MMOs
Okay.
prime?
It's not
And
now.
how did they slowly start to die off?
Okay.
Joey, would you like to
MMOs
speak? Yeah.
were
Hold on, I
in
got
their
this.
prime like during the 90s, like when computers were first being made.
90s
MMOs.
to
Well,
2000.
when the internet first came through, like MMOs were in their prime, dude. Like there was a major
Oh,
MMO,
no, hold
like, I
on.
forget, and it was just running
I
off
wouldn't
of your
say as
browser.
early. I would say late 90s maybe.
Like
That-
late 90s to
that's
2007, 2008, 2009.
Okay.
Yeah, but like when internet phase came through, there was this game, I forget what it's called, but I've heard about it a lot, and it was sort of like, it was like browser based, and it was the first real MMO,
Oh.
right?
I mean,
And so like
I think
MMOs
that's
were
it.
in their prime then, and I think a lot of the reason why MMOs are dying out is just
I'm
part of
playing
it's
RuneScape right now.
oversaturation
Sorry
and
about that.
exposure, and a lot of it is also sort of like the sort of like pay to win type mentality and benefits, you know.
Like,
Talking about
Like-
pay to win.
I think the
Like,
last
RuneScape.
good MMO that had a lot of hype behind it was Blade and Soul. Like there was so much hype behind Blade and Soul.
but it felt
Like
flat.
let's be honest, that thing was top of the charts on Twitch streams for like months, dude. But then upon launch, you know, the servers were so poorly made, and if you had to like pay to get priority in queue, that a lot of the hype died. Now you barely hear about Blade and Soul.
Okay, that's up.
Okay, so MMOs right now, they're either in one or two states. It's either free to play and it's trash, or no, three states. It's either free to play or it's trash. It's either you play it but you have to pay for shit to like get shit done and actually have fun in the game, or you have to buy a subscription. And the subscription ones, like, you know, like World of Warcraft, those are like the really fun ones. And also like the same thing with like the ones that are just like, oh, you have to pay in the game to like get like a membership. You don't have to pay to get the game, but you have to pay for a membership. It's like like a good example of this is like for like the first one, the ones that's like free to play and it's like decently trash, in my opinion, would be like games like Terra, in my opinion. Yeah, Terra is okay, but it's just like it's not really that good. Like I've played it myself.
What about you, Joy?
Grind fest, and it's just
Joy.
not fun. And then when it goes to like games they're free to play but with membership, there's games like Arcade or like OSRS that is just like, oh, like you pay, and then if you're free to play you're gonna have like a shitty time because you can't really do that much, or you can pay and have like a lot of fun.
Okay.
Like
I just want
like OSRS, like literally right now I'm playing fucking membership RuneScape and I'm having like a fucking blast playing this shit. And
Did you mean
Like,
grinding
John,
wood cutting for 3 years?
it's
yes.
so fun.
I need 99 wood cutting. I need to get that OSRS GF for 10k gold.
Uh-huh.
But like John, you can elaborate on the Arcade.
Yeah. Like Arcade, it's like what I really want to talk about is just developers, and I think that's the main reason. Like I feel like the community is still there for like MMOs. It's there. I don't think they've moved on, because there's like a whole bunch of people that make videos like just like, oh, why WoW is dying, or like it's just people like saying, oh, how WoW could be better. And there's recently there was this server, a vanilla server for WoW
on
that
the
opened up.
Stars.
Yeah, that basically just a whole bunch of people, like an insane amount of people, actually went and played the private server.
I played it.
Yeah, that just like, and it just like, it was insane, right? Because like these people, like for WoW, which is technically like by now it's an old game, because you know just a whole bunch of new games have been made, and a whole bunch of people went back and played it, and it was just insane to see that much. And guess what? Your boy Blizzard did. They took it down, because it's understandable, because they're taking away from their own game, but they could have just been a lot better about it. And now I think they improved from what I've seen, because they are reopening up a vanilla server, and I think that's going to bring a lot of people back into it. Are they not?
They're
not?
For WoW, they basically just made it so that like there's like a mode where it's sort of like vanilla, but it's still like the same, like
At least they've
region
improved on
DLC
that.
or-
Like,
yeah, but like
but
doesn't
the
mean
fact
it
that
didn't go well.
yeah, like they took it down, and that just like got a lot of people outraged, and that's a problem with developers though. Because with Arcade, did I mess up my words there a bit? No, I don't
No,
think.
you're good. You're good.
Okay. With Arcade, what happened there was basically it was a great game during alpha. Like I paid $250, and like I'm not saying it was a good amount of money to pay.
You gotta pay $250 to have fun
play
with
the
an MMO.
No, I had to pay $250 to play the alpha for Arcade, and that is the like my best spent money ever. Like I'm not even joking on video games. Like I had a lot of fun with it, like an insane amount. Sure, $250 was a lot of money, and that's what like brought like a lot of people just like, what the fuck are they doing? And I can understand like why.
Wait,
people
was the
were
price
saying
tag
that.
legitimately $250?
$250 to play alpha.
What the
Yeah,
fuck?
It's insane, right? I paid it though because I really wanted to play the game, and a lot of people just they played it and they had a shit ton of fun with it, and they were ready for the release, right? As soon as release came, a whole bunch of people also joined in that were waiting for the release to fully go through, and it was a lot of fun for a bit. But then slowly it just became into a game where you could just pay like with your credit. Like people legit joke around if you had certain items, like, oh, you're dual wielding credit cards. I see, like legit, they would just people could just spend all their money through the in-game cash shop, and they would just easily be able to breeze through the game, do everything they wanted without like any actual work put into it. And that just got a lot of people mad. And Tryon, they just didn't listen to the community and made it even worse. And now they've improved. They recently added a server where you couldn't pay like for like there's still some stuff you could pay through the cash shop, but you had to create a new account and everything to get in. So it was all right, but it's still they couldn't like they lost a lot of their audience just from making that like game pay to win essentially. And that's why MMOs like right now like Blizzard right now like they're releasing all their new DLCs like Legion or whatever, and people just aren't coming back. Legion, I think it's actually improved for like from the other ones, like the amount of people that came back to play it, but they're just not able to get back what they lost because they just completely like released garbage over like I think the 2 or 3 before it. Just people just did not like them, and they were just like putting out like just not garbage, but just things people didn't want to play, and they lost their audience, and they did it again, and then now it's just sort of been like all developers are just creating the same garbage over and over. Like, oh, you grind until like whatever. And there's like, oh, supposedly there's like super high PvP and all that, but just in the end, it's just like bland combat, like just doing the same quest over. You kill X amount of things in this
Spamming
place
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, just like, and it's just like this is garbage pretty much, and it's been overfilled. Like the amount of games that have been made, it's just too much, and the community is just sort of over MMOs at this point. Just because the developers are just like putting out garbage over and over.
I would love to have like a MMO that I could like play just like non-stop, have like fun with. Like I played Astarius and I had like a shit ton of fun with it, but then you know Blizzard gotta shut that shit down.
Right.
Well, but like there's like no like really like real good like MMO on the market that like you can be like, oh, it's like free to play and is like has that like replay value and like you can play every single day and like have fun and like make friends and shit like that.
Okay. Well, guys, I
like
think
nothing.
We've sat on this topic for long enough. Kevin said he had something to say, so. Oh, Kevin, you there?
No.
Okay.
You guys have been going for less than the other two. I guess that's fine.
MMO dead and fuck.
Yeah,
No.
that's about it.
Because people don't want to grind to play video games when you can get
Do you
instant
guys
gratification from games like League of Legends.
What were we
Do you
saying?
guys think that maybe it's the change of genre that most people want to, instead of being into a grindfest simulator, they want to play a competitive game where they have a reward and a skill cap to go and reach for?
Yes.
Yeah, it's because there's
and the instant gratification.
Yeah. There's a new type of video games. There's a new evolution of video games. You want the instant gratification. You want like tons of action, flashing lights, all that stuff. The strategy game market, or the slow game market, the grind game market, all of those are dying because of this. Because people, the new generation of gamers, the younger ones, people younger than us even, which is kind of spooky to think about, like they're marketed towards that age now. is people who don't want to sit around doing fucking fetch quests. They want to get in there. They want to kill shit. And they want to get points for it. They don't want to have to get.
Wait,
not,
99.
they don't want to get. They don't want to have to get.
Do
Do you know why I was very tilted at RuneScape for a bit? It was the most boring thing I had to do. I needed to get there was a quest I needed to get 20 fishing. To do that, I needed to get 25 fire making. To do that, I needed to grind for wood cutting. All to get my fishing level up, and I only got my fishing level up because I needed to get my cooking level up. And what did that accomplish for me? Nothing. I sat there and I grinded for numbers, and I didn't get any satisfaction. It was sort of entertaining, sort of left clicking a bit. When I finally got to the quest, it was fun, but like several hours of grinding, it's just not the payoff gamers expect today. Several hours of grinding is not worth the payoff that I got, and that's not what gamers are expecting today.
Any final words, or are we ending it on that?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I
I
think he's
think-
kind of on the point there too.
It's-
Like, part of it is that sort of a competitive aspect because a lot of that is when you get into competitive aspect, a lot of it sort of carries this instant gratification to do well when you succeed, right? And so, like, when you have games like League of Legends and Counter-Strike, there's no reason to sort of like spend endless and endless hours on games that don't sort of like benefit you until you put in so many hours of your life into it. You don't see any results. And that's why like a lot of it is sort of dead, you know, because I feel like, and I don't think maybe necessarily that the argument's that it's dead, but maybe it's just that people play these games more than they play MMOs. It brought like competitive games like League of Legends and Counter-Strike brought up a lot of new players that never maybe even played MMOs in the first place. So I just feel like what we're seeing now is sort of this transition into like competitive, like competitiveness. You know, we're seeing like esports up and coming in the society, and we're seeing the community that builds around that, and like sort of gratification and like trying to learn new techniques in a game and trying to like master a certain champion in League, or just trying to like, maybe master your reactions in CS:GO.
Right. I think that's it, really.
And just the audience changing, or the new audience, is what's just causing MMOs to just like losing popularity. There you go. We're done.
All right.
Alright.
So
So that is the end of the first episode of the first podcast. I hope everyone who sat through both halves enjoy. If you sat through only one, I hope you enjoyed that as well. But please leave any feedback to us, direct it straight to at AwesomeSpace or Gabriel,
Yep.
so we can sort out and maybe improve our quality and keep this going every week. And if there's any of you who do watch and would like a specific topic to be talked about next week, please mention it and we might actually pick it.
Yeah. Drop that shit.
But besides that, I think that's it.
All right. Let's leave. I need to take a nap.